10,000, well, kind of like 12,000-ish review on owning a Hellcat. What is it like after about 10,000 miles of owning a Hellcat? Let's jump in the car. I'll put the GoPro on so we have a pretty cool POV, and let's just talk about my personal experiences of what it's like to own a Hellcat. Now, this isn't a Hellcat review. If you're looking forward to one of those, make sure you're subscribed. We will be doing a full Hellcat review. This is just my personal experiences and what I think after roughly a little over 10,000 miles. Let's go. So, with a little over 10,000 miles, what's it like to own a Hellcat? My personal experience. Honestly, it's very enjoyable. I came from a 2017 Camaro SS that was full bolt-on E85. It was a pretty fun car. Rode a little rough, and this obviously is... This is that Supercharger whine. That's one of the other things I love about the Hellcat. But anyway, it rides a lot better because, first of all, it's a more expensive car, but you have different options for the suspension, street being soft. So when it comes to actually driving the car every day for everyday use, or even on the highway, this is a very smooth riding car. It takes bumps really well, and you can easily stiffen it up with the suspension, whether you want it in sport or track. It just stiffens up the suspension. You feel a lot more of the bumps. The car is a lot more tighter. But as a daily driver or a highway warrior, it rides extremely well. And it's kind of surprising given the fact that this car weighs 4,400 plus pounds. This is a 2015 Challenger Hellcat, for those that don't know. And I basically bought this brand new off an old guy last year. It only had 3,400 miles on it. Now that actually brings me into my next point. Maintenance costs and whatnot. What have I needed to have done since I got the car? One of the very first expensive things that I did was replace a back rear left axle, half shaft I should say. And the reason why is because this only had 3,400 miles on it, the owner wasn't driving it. So the boot tore when it was driven, or it dry rotted basically, and then when it was driven, when I drove it, because I bought it, it tore. Which means you should definitely be driving your car. Don't let it sit. Things rot. Things start to not work. And that's even for electronic components as well. But that was a pretty expensive fix. At the dealership, it was like over $1,000 overall. But other than that, in stock form, because I'm talking about stock first. You guys know that my car is modified. We'll get to that in a second. But in stock form, the car was fantastic. No transmission issues. No other issues with the engine at all or anything like that. There were no issues with the car at all. So as a stock vehicle, it is a very good car, and there's actually room in the back. You can fit people in the back. It's a common misconception that both Mustangs and Camaros and Challengers, all three of them are in the same category for people not being able to comfortably sit in the back. That is simply not true. People can comfortably sit in the back of a Hellcat Challenger, or a Challenger of any kind for that matter, but we're specifically talking about the Hellcat here, can comfortably sit in the back seat. So if that's something you've been wondering about, it is true. You can comfortably sit someone in the back seat. Now, behind the driver's side, you're gonna have to push the wheel all the way forward, and you're gonna have to go up a little bit. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's doable on short trips. So if it's a must, you can fit 4 people in here, no problem. As far as amenities, I mean, heated, cooled seats, that's fine. Living with that, that's pretty cool. Heated steering wheel is game changer for anyone who's never had a heated steering wheel. I'm not gonna go deep into more of the things that the Hellcat offers. That'll be in another video. But living with that has been nice. And the power. So let's talk about that. In stock form, that is. These cars, especially if you're gonna buy brand new or off someone that hasn't changed the tires at all, these cars come with Pirelli P0 tires, all seasons. Even if you get the summer ones, they're terrible. They cannot hold the power of these beasts. One of the main things you have to do is get new tires for this car. And most people, like I have, get bigger wheels as well for the back, so you can have 305s, 315s. A wider tire and a better tire will give you better traction. And also in stock form, you're going to want to upgrade the drive shaft as well. Thankfully, the drive shaft was upgraded from the owner when I bought this vehicle. It's got a DSS one-piece aluminum drive shaft, but that's a cost that you're going to have to pay for when you get one of these cars. It is a insurance policy type item. You want to get it so you won't have to worry about it down the road, and you won't have to worry about your drive shaft snapping, because they do snap even at stock power. Same thing with the half shafts. I've been lucky even at the power that I'm at, but upgrading half shafts is another insurance policy. I'm gonna go ahead and put this into custom mode, and I'll give you guys just a little bit of hit. Trans temp's at 100, which is fine. Coolant temps is almost where it needs to be, and I'll just give you guys a little taste of what it does. Can't go too fast because, well, the speed limit, but we can go up to the speed limit at a 60 roll. Let's check it out. I mean, the car is just phenomenal. It is a very fast car, even in stock form. But so let's go into, we talked about what it's like to live with, what it's like to drive in stock form. We talk about the tire issue. We talk about how you need to upgrade the drivetrain. If you're going to actually keep it stock, you still need to get a drive shaft. You still need to get rear axles. Also, a diff brace is a must as well, in my opinion. So you still incur costs even in stock, but other than that, this car is absolutely phenomenal. It is reliable as well. So let's go into what I have it now. Living with my 900 horsepower Hellcat. The very first thing I did after I got it done was I ran the balls off of it, and I got a trans tune. Well, I was running the trans tune in street transmission when the trans tune was actually in track mode only. Well, I blew out my transmission. I didn't know, I didn't think about it, but my transmission blew. I knew there was a handful of times that I was doing pulls in street mode instead of track, and just completely forgot about it. Even David Starnes at a D&B Automotive, one of the best transmission builders in the world, has had a brain fart. We all have brain farts, and he's blown a couple transmissions doing the same thing, because there's so many things that you have to have in line before you go make a pull, and putting it in the trans tune is one of them. But that's a whole nother video for another story. So I blew the transmission. That's $7,000. I got the max build I could get, so now I don't have to worry about it anymore. Also, making 900 horsepower, you need another set of wheels, because the 20-inch wheels aren't gonna cut it. So I got 17-inch wheels. They're lighter, a lot lighter, so you save unsprung weight, and stickier tires to put on the back as well. Now, you could do that daily driving, but it gets very expensive. But I mainly do it for the weekends and at the track, because I do like to take the car to the drag strip. I've already done the drivetrain upgrades, minus the axles. I still need to get better axles. They are a pretty penny. But other than that, the car has been almost flawless. Now, there is a engine light there. You're probably thinking, well, it's not flawless. That's just for the aftermarket exhaust I got on here. I got an MBPR catback exhaust, and the actuators throw codes. That's something I'm going to fix relatively soon. One last thing of maintenance that I wanted to talk about before we get into closing about owning this vehicle after 10,000 miles is the supercharger bearings, especially in the earlier models, but they do happen to the later models as well. They tend to wear out just naturally by themselves. They're just not rated correctly. So one of the things people do is they port the snout, because the snout can give you gains with a bigger throttle body, which I do have a ported snout. But also on top of that, you get race bearings. There's three companies. There's SDG, there's Kong, and there's Jokers. And all three of them do porting service with race bearings in there, upgraded bearings that can take the extra revolutions if you use, even with the stock pulley, but also if you lower and upgrade your upper pulley, like I have. I have a 285 pulley, so I'm spinning the supercharger faster, which spins those bearings faster, which means on stock bearings they'll wear out quicker, but if you get race bearings, they're built for it, higher RPMs. So that's something. Superchargers have rarely failed, even though when they're making the noise. But one, it's annoying, and two, it gives me anxiety, and it gave me anxiety hearing that grinding noise, because it just feels like at any moment my supercharger could just go kaboom, you know, just eat itself, and I don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen. That's another little insurance thing to make sure that your supercharger is healthy, and so is your engine. But honestly, all in all, without the $7,000 transmission build, which I was going to do anyway, depending on what you're going to do with this car, you can make it very reliable. And if you treat it right, do all the maintenance, and do things correctly, you will have an enjoyable car. If you keep it stock, yes, there's a few things you need to do to increase your reliability and then allow you to sleep at night, but it doesn't really cost that much money. These cars aren't cheap to begin with, so the costs pale in comparison. And then if you're modifying this car, make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you mod it correctly. Take it to the right person. I took it to Tim Barth, the #1 Hellcat tuner in the entire world. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure it's done correctly. Don't be afraid if something breaks. If something breaks, it is to be expected. You expect something to break, you're pushing the power, you're pushing the limit. So make sure you have money set aside or a fail-safe to fix what's broken. That's overall my review of the car. It's been absolutely fantastic. It guzzles gas, but hey, we all know that. It's a Dodge Hellcat, for God's sakes. So I didn't even talk about gas as I'm pulling up to the gas station right now with, let's see what the gas is today. $4.79 for 93. So obviously the gas prices suck right now, but again, I didn't talk about it because that's something we don't really care about. I think I get 12 miles a gallon in town, and if I'm lucky, being modded, I get 24 max on the highway. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to if you have done so already. Really appreciate it. We're over 100 subscribers, so thank you guys for subscribing. Be a part of the channel. Again, I'll be doing a full overview of everything the Dodge Challenger Hellcat is about in another video, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that, and drop any questions you want in the comment section down below. I'll answer all the questions you guys may have about my experiences and what I think about the car. That's it with your boy Fitz City. I'll see you guys in another one. Have a good one.